Again, they do have Seraphine. I love Seraphine. I know all there is to know about that champion. And on the other side of the rift, we've got Vivo Keyed Stars, who locked in that Orianna that went really under the table just because of how much garbage was happening on the other side of the map.
There's a lot going on, yeah.
Really solid team fighting comp from Vivo Keyed Stars, and I want to really focus in on that as their main advantage here. They've got a Jax who, yes, while he can split push, is alongside Vi going to be absolutely terrifying when it comes to delivering those shockwaves into the front line and against a very auto-heavy team composition. Urgot, Nautilus, Jace, and even Sivir do a lot of damage to you by clicking on you, and Jax gets to avoid all that for seconds at a time.
Yeah. No, you nailed it. This is a very AD heavy composition, right? Yampy is probably just going to go pure tank. I just can't believe we get to see Nautilus on more than like 2 items. This is going to be so much fun. And with the Orianna, part of what you want to see is, okay, do you have that ball delivery system, right? Whether that's the Jax, whether that's Grell with the ultimate, can get into really good, really threatening positions to get onto, be it Ninja Kiwi or Nia in the back line, or even Nosferus before he maybe changes forms and dives in. And in the bottom lane, again, Steps go in that lethal tempo. Varus not really opting for pressure in lane with the Comet. Crastiel just going to support those auto attacks from Steps. But Seraphine as well, something we forget. Yes, I mean, she's known for her healing, but the laning can be really, really oppressive as well.
Yeah, I know that I'm biased, and so with that full disclaimer in mind, Seraphine can...
I missed the Amumu game last game. So
we almost had yours. But Seraphine can solo win this lane, and she doesn't even have to with Ninja Kiwi right next to her. This is a lane that you've now been able to equalize that shove that we talked about earlier, the game plan for Vivo Keyed Stars, and the most important part of this is that it's going to let Ninja Kiwi have access to farm. INTZ don't even have to win this early game that hard. They just need to keep Ninja Kiwi out from under his tower, and things are going to be okay. With the way the early game is going, they're absolutely checking that box.
Yeah, it's get it to the late game. Get it into Ninja Kiwi's hands, give him the ball, he's going to go get you a bucket. Now,
they don't have to dive, but they might.
No, they just might. Let's see about this shove. Ninja Kiwi and Nia want to get Ninja Kiwi just fully sitting in the Varus W. Maybe Steps and Crastiel wise to it. Here comes the cannon wave. It's not the biggest wave. Nia out with the one charge. Root has the double note, and Yampy just going to flash out of there just for safety. As the Ignite goes down, Airy does the rest. First blood for Crastiel.
Oh my god. Oh my lord. I am honestly shaken to my core at what we just witnessed. That was an unlucky way for that to go down, and looks like the top lane may be a similar story. Vivo Keyed Stars getting away with INTZ in 2 separate lanes, pushing themselves too far. This could be Vivo Keyed coming back with a vengeance in split 1.
I was gonna say, man, like, based on how that dive went, I had to do a little double take. I'm like, wait a minute. Vivo Cade, they're the ones that made the roster swaps, right? They're the ones with the new jungler who he's Mexican, but he does speak Portuguese. But still, you don't know how good his Portuguese is, although Spanish and Portuguese are very similar languages. Let's take a look at this, man. This was not good.
No, this was, again, a dive that we said did not need to happen. INTZ already winning this lane, and Yampy's sort of drive-by kill contribution does not go the right way at all. A big part of that is, I think, if they were going to go for the dive, the failure to lock down by Nia to contribute a little bit more damage. But honestly, even looking back at that dive in the VOD, I think that INTZ's real question is going to be, was this risk at all worth it? Because we didn't have the deck stacked in our favor nearly enough. Now the rest of the map has gone all right to bad. ZZK again also following, but this isn't unwinnable for INTZ. Nia actually should be safe here.
Grell, the Mad Mexican going in. There's that double root that you wanted out of Nia, right? Laying down that CC, but instead Crastiel and Steps both flashed away. Yampy wasn't able to get that auto off, and we completely didn't really give Gigo his moment in the sun here on this Jax. That's the thing. Like, the problem with Vivo Cade was never like Gigo and Grevthar, doing their thing in their lanes. It was their mid game. It was that indecision. And Grevthar talked about this in an interview. He said, look, when I was on red, yeah, I played these more kind of supportive roaming champions. I played, the Gallios and Twisted Fates, whatever. That's my bread and butter. But between me and Aegis and Titan, but especially me and Aegis, we've known each other for years. We've played each other for with each other for years. The shot calling burden wasn't all on me, but on this Vivo Cade roster, it fell completely onto Grevthar. And he admitted, he was like, I'm not good enough to do that. He said that in an interview. He's like, that's just not who I am. Like, I thought I could do it, but there was too much pressure on me. And then here comes Grell, who has no stop button. He just has a go button. Yampy maybe looking for a Hex flash forward here. He goes over, gets the flash out of steps. That's what you wanted. Nia with the lockdown. Crastiel returning fire. And now Grell, here he comes, showing up. Nia taking a big ol' arrow to the face. Steps, putting down the pressure. They have no idea that Grell is there. At least not definitively. Charging up the Q, the assault and battery. He's going to take that right into the Dragon Pit.
Good call as well. I think Vivo Keyed learning from what INTZ gave us earlier. Nia still with Flash. And as we were talking about before that bot lane shenanigans, game's not over for INTZ. Well, it has gotten a lot more difficult with their loss of 2 kills. And now the Dragon that is presumably going over to Vivo Keyed in this bot lane. They've been set on the back foot, and Yompi, interestingly enough, is who this game is going to come back to, because INTZ's recovery has to happen in the mid game when the junglers have some of the most autonomy. Ganks have to be happening, but curiously enough, 4x4, I'd be directing them a little more towards the mid lane. Grevthar is a relatively immobile mage, and while Vivo Keyed have done a great job of controlling the vision around there, you get a Jace rolling, and suddenly the mid game feels a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, no, it really does, right? And like we said, INTZ, they don't have to win the early game that hard. Their composition is going to play itself. They've got both sides have a good team fighting composition, but the scaling, I think, does favor INTZ. ZZK can go crazy on this Urgot down the line. But both sides can match it. But as far as just your raw 80 carry damage threat, that is Ninja Kiwi. Make no bones about it. And Nosferos, he's got to be your bridge to get you there. Now, both mid laners have started with that tier, right? So they're both, neither one of them is going to be super powerful right now, although Grevthar maybe getting a little bit of, well, actually, no. Nosferos has 2 long swords. Anyway, yeah, I think one of the saving graces is during that botched bot dive, the kill did go over to Crastiel. Which is a bit of a saving grace, right?
At least it's not snowballing out of control for Vivo Keyed. It's just INTZ perhaps losing a bit of tempo is the way that I'd put this right now. Like you talk about that kill going to Crastiel means that, yes, Vivo Keyed aren't going to be able to abuse this huge economic advantage that they've gotten, at least relative to the game state. In reality, it is only a couple hundred gold, so keep your pants on, everybody. We are still playing out a real, what could be long game of League of Legends, but Vivo Keyed do still have the game going in their favor as a result of, I'd say, the lack of pressure from INTZ. Yompi's tried to apply it a few times, but this is a comp that's going to scale up to team fights, and a comp that not only is going to scale up to those team fights, but is doing so by farming freely across the map.
Yeah, maybe you see Yampy not go quite as hard, right? There was a lack of pressure from Yampy because of a botched dive, and I think maybe Yampy kind of takes a back seat here, but, with the first Dragon going over to Grell and Vivo Cade Stars, with the first Herald going over there as well, he's got that sitting in his inventory. ZZK still trading away very nicely here against Gigo. Grell again making his return to Vivo Cade Stars. He was at Worlds with Isurus playing in front of the hometown faithful in the LLA at the play-in tournament in Mexico City. And this guy, basically, from what I heard, got into a spat with his coaches to the point where, I don't know who said it, but it essentially came down to, like, look, it's him or me. And they made the decision to bench their jungler. They benched Grell, and he said, all right, cool, it's us, it's not you. And so Grell's looking for a new home. He comes back to Vivo Cade Stars again. He played for Cade Stars back when they were just Cade Stars before franchising, before Vivo, the telecom provider, gave them a sponsorship. Grell going to walk over a ward now. But yeah, then Grell coming back to the team. First scrim, he plays with Grevthar and Gigo. Grevthar and Gigo both get solo kills within the first 5 minutes. Grell looks over at them in disbelief. He goes, how the F are you? Like, you guys are like, what the hell is this? Like, you guys are so good. How the hell are you guys 1-7?
Yeah, it doesn't seem realistic when you're looking at this team, and it hasn't been a day of upsets, so
Yeah.
There is a world where, honestly, Vivo Kid winning this game is not the biggest event of the day, but as is rightly being pointed out by some of our commentators who have just now checked in with the game, yeah, we do have a Nautilus jungle, and that is probably going to be the wildest thing that we see this game, and even today. Maybe even this weekend for Y4, but to stop scaling further and further out, we gotta check in with the mid lane because Nosferatu getting jumped on, does flash away. Yampi trades his ult, and the fight may be in its conclusion already.
Yeah, gets the hook down on Grell. Nosferatu's going to fire out a shock blast, not going to land onto the new jungler. 4K stars, bless you.
Thank you. I'm gonna do it again. I think we're gonna be okay though.
The Gigo. He's got the advantage in this matchup and actually blowing both factions there, but the fighting does not end in the mid lane. Yampy, man, oh man. Look, a hook champ is a hook champ is a hook champ, right? Whether you're a support or a jungler, you could wreak havoc on those champions. And now Yampy too far forward. No ult, no Q, no
nice
nothing. Nia with a big old charm, but Vivo Cade Stars are walking away with this one. It was a heck of a play, but Vivo Cade Stars were just better. They were first to the fight. Oh, picks, not enough help. Does not get the kill out of the support, but Vivo Cade starts up 4-0 in the kill department.
And it's not even close. I am looking at this game and I'm crying as a Yampi fan. The first time that I saw this guy, you mentioned it earlier. I mean, I've been around CBLOL for a while, and perhaps I'm just, reminiscing about the good old days, but Yampi was an Elise player, an early game jungler who would get up in your face and either end the game against himself by running it down or would crush you under his foot. And this game, he is just not looking comfortable on the Nautilus. He's going for flash ganks in multiple lanes, early tower dives, counter jungling that isn't properly timed, and it's looking like this guy, on really anything but Elise, isn't comfortable because he's not able to actually do anything that he wants to. Right now, even on Vision, I hesitate to say that the red ward's even necessary from Vivo Kid because wherever Yampi's going, he's not having any impact. And it has nothing to do with the fact that Vivo Kid can't see him coming, and everything to do with the fact that Yampi isn't making these plays properly.
Yeah, it's just mixed execution. And like you said, it's unfortunate because this dude has promise. Step's going to land another ultimate. Came right back up off cooldown. Oh, Nia. This time, he will go down. And the follow-up immediately there onto Grell. Gets stopped by Ninja Kiwi with the spell shield. Up goes Grell with the wild growth. Dissuade the dive, but another kill for Vivo Cade Stars. They are slowly but surely running away with this one.
They bring that focus down to the bot lane, though, and you've got to appreciate that because the one thing that can save this game as it gets later and later for INTZ is Ninja Kiwi on this Sivir, who can run late games. We talked about it earlier, but if Ninja Kiwi isn't under tower, things are going well for INTZ. You can see it now. And Ninja Kiwi is absolutely under tower, but it does not mean that he will not be useful later in the game. The more that he gets pushed, the more we delay that power spike, but the power spike is coming, and Vivo Kid, from this incredible early game they have onward, still are technically on a timer.
Yep, and like Vivo Cade Stars fans have seen this year, the mid game is where it always falls apart. Grevthar and Gigo have done a great job of getting themselves advantages, but the mid game is where things go bad. And there's a golden opportunity here against an INTZ squad that, again, like beating INTZ, it may not be the biggest upset in the world because INTZ, they are just 3-5, but this is a respectable team that have taken games off upper echelon teams. Vivo Cade Stars, the miracle run's got to start somewhere. Grell put it down on Twitter. He said, we're going 2-0 this week, and we are going to start this miracle run. This whole team knows what's on the line. And on the one hand, I guess you play with some sort of lack of pressure because you go, look, it can't really get much worse from here. And other teams are floundering. Even though Furia, I thought, looked better today, I still think they are a bottom of the barrel team because their talent is not cooking in the way that they would like. INTZ, again, I still think there's a ceiling on this team, but they are going to get this second Herald and try to punch back in this game. Like you said, Dia, they're on a timer, but they've been playing defense this whole game.
Yeah, I have to applaud the fact that they picked up that Rift Herald as well. It's the first objective that INTZ get access to, and where they drop it is going to be a big curiosity point for me, because they've already moved Ninja Kiwi up to this mid lane to make sure the Herald goes down. I'm not even sure they put him back bot lane. Right now, they're trying to make a play up top of all things.
Oh, and now getting gobbled up. ZZK going to eat grill for lunch. Gigo doing what he can under tower, but it's 5 dudes and a Shelly right onto Gigo. Gets the stun off, but ZZK outside of that. Yampy might go down. He will not. Flashes away into safety. But on the other side, Steps solo boloing a turret, so they do respond, but INTZ, they punch back.
Yeah, you may look at this and say that Vivo Keed have lost control of the game, and while that's true, that play got away from them. Losing the top lane tower is something they knew they were going to do. Losing 2, perhaps a little bit more than they bargained for, and when you add that on top of the kills, what looks like another crash. What
goodness.
Looks like, at the start of the play, like Vivo Keed opting into a fight that they know may go south, turns out as one of the most disastrous plays of the game so far, and certainly for them.
And Gigo, again, just did what he could, but like you said, losing it here is not the end of the world. But what does get really, really ugly is not 1, not 2 towers going down, but 3 charges from Shelly. There's your win condition. ZZK or Nosferus, you could set either one of them up into a side lane, really, and they're going to be able to do their thing. They've got points of pressure now, and as the late game goes on, and INTZ, with the better damage, wants to play for more Barons, opening up that top lane is going to be huge. Now, Gigo is your response, right? You throw him in the side lane, he's going to do just fine. Like you said, lots of auto attacks on this INTZ squad, and with that Counter-Strike, Gigo is going to get a ton of value out of that ability. So we're looking at this side lane as a late game focus point. Grafthar gets the shockwave. Nia goes down. Steps doing free damage over the wall. Yappy doing what he can in the back line. But INTZ responding here now. ZZK finally goes down as Steps laying down way too much damage. Once he got into that fight, it was curtains. Double kill for Gigo. Vivo Cade, answer back.
Big overextension from INTZ on that. Having the confidence from the top lane play, they transitioned it down here where Vivo Cade are much better prepared, and the shock wave damage from Orianna. Take a look at the bottom of your screen, because that is a Grefthar that is feeling so good after saying, yep, Orianna R5, that was worth it.
And she got those base damage buffs in 13-3. That shockwave hits like a truck. Let's check this out. This is a 4v5. Steps has been money with these chains of corruptions. And then the follow-up damage, Grell in, it's just textbook.
Nia steps too far forward to start that fight off, but you really do get to see what makes the Vivo Keed team fight so strong, and they approach it from multiple angles. They've got that Lulu and Varus that I think RMC even called out last time cannot be left alone, and with so much money in their pockets and a great initiation, the fight is never even close to being out of control for them. INTZ do not have the tools to answer them, and they aren't going to get them. They don't have these big buttons for lockdown much in the same way that Vivo Keed do. Instead, they have to rely on pure damage scaling alone, and INTZ aren't going to get access to that for another 2.5 items.
No, and especially when Nia gets caught out. I mean, yeah, you can land a big 3-man charm, and Yampy on the Nautilus is kind of made of CC, but it's not super reliable. Yampy going with the demonic embrace here right off the rip. I don't hate it. Again, it's been literal years since I've seen Nautilus jungle, so I don't really know what he's supposed to, quote unquote, build. But demonic embrace is just so crazy strong on any sort of beefy, AP bruiser, anyone with any sort of AP ratios that is there to take a few hits. Obviously, Amumu, a tremendous benefactor. Dang, wow, Amumu and Nautilus can both be played in the jungle. I should really start playing ranked.
Yeah. It's your season, 4x4.
Maybe this is it, man. Maybe this is when I start climbing. But yeah, no, I think you nailed it, right? When Vivo Cade are able to start the fights and the CC can't come out, it's just too much. And I do want to shout out, again, I started talking about the fight as if it was a 4v5 because it was, but Gigo did TP late into that fight, and he's the one that ended up with that double kill, even though I still think Vivo Cade Stars take that fight. But again, you're going to see a lot of this, right? In the fights that Vivo Cade Stars want to take, Vivo's probably going to be showing up late to a lot of these fights because he knows he's got to respond or be a force in the side lane or at minimum respond to pressure in the top lane. Now the 1v1 here between the two top laners, ZZK, laying down some hurt. Gigo just waiting for some abilities to come back off cooldown. Nope, he knows that he is getting chased. Going to ward hop on out of there and back to safety.
So Jack's scaling is looking comfortable is the takeaway from that play, because after taking a full rotation from Murgot, he's utterly fine. Push is happening the top side as well, and we're seeing really evidenced that, The CBLOL stream has crashed. There we go. We got it
we're
back.
back.
Thanks, guys. It's okay. Hold on. INTZ do try and make plays, though, and you saw it down there as ZZK made the engage onto Guigo. Their head is in the right place, and catching Vivo keyed off guard in these suboptimal plays to try and get small gold injections into their main carries. That's the game plan for INTZ right now, because if they're just trading farm, they're staying the same amount behind and still letting Vivo Keyed make as many plays as they want. The Baron now up, and Guigo's still in the bot lane with that teleport almost back. Vivo Keyed's job is to force out the global tools from INTZ and slowly and methodically take that Baron to choke INTZ out of the game.
The TP advantage is pretty much even. Both solo laners have it up, if not within 2 seconds of being up, like you pointed out with Gigo's.
Steps did lose his flash.
Okay, yep, Steps does lose the flash, so no flash ult from him. But again, you've got 2 very powerful ultimates. With Grell going in, Grevthar puts the ball on top of him, Shockwave, Crastiel, bam, Wild Growth. The Wombo combo writes itself. We haven't really seen that big team fight taken on INTZ's terms. And if they can't get that, this is going to be really, really ugly, because if they can take a straight up 5v5, it's hard to see how VivoCade or how INTZ don't come away at least competitive. But you do see that it's starting to get away from them just a little bit. ZZK, the only guy that's really going even there. You see the XP and level, right? Grev and Gigo, VivoCade stars, solo laners doing their thing. Again, it's been the mid game all year for this team. ZZK has been a standout. The first ever Korean import for INTZ, and man, what a home run it has been. It's a lot of pressure, but he's playing even on this 3-5 team. No one doubts this dude's skill.
Look at
Gigo,
this flank.
Yeah, looking for a flank here. Steps, he's been money with those chains of corruption. Ooh, ZZK
running into ZZK
in the night. Gigo sees him coming with that control ward, gets the stun down, not gonna reach ZZK. Counter-strike, not gonna make things happen. I don't think he has the ward hop up. Gigo just trying to buy his team some time. Here comes that 4th Ocean Dragon. The sole point. I neglected to mention that. Farside alteration going down. INTZ making sure they've got at least some vision over the wall. In the brush they go. Grevthar looking for a flank of his own. ZZK and Gigo again in the back line. And it's a 3v4 in the river. In goes Grell. There's the Wild Growth. Side lane. Side laners doing their thing. Yampy taken low. He gets a big shield, but it's not enough. Grell goes forward and Grevthar gets the kill. There's the big charm. But what are they going to do about it? Nothing, because Steps took down Ninja Kiwi, and that is all she wrote. You put all your eggs in that basket, and when it goes sideways, you end up with uncooked scrambled eggs on the pavement, Dia.
And VivoKey know exactly what they have to do in that fight. The move up from Grevthar is pristine, and it results in now a dragon play for them. Crastiel's death completely insignificant for VivoKey right here. And in fact, I was going to say it might not even happen. Nice shot from ZZK to make sure that they at least get something off of that play, but they lose the biggest goal of them all. Ocean Soul, the game itself has gotten away from INTZ, and with fights like this, I don't see them getting it back. We're going to take a look at it again, but Grevthar's flank was what I was focused on this fight. Waiting patiently for this shockwave, isn't letting the rest of INTZ step up until as Yampy goes down, he gets to pull in another target, that juicy target that you were talking about, Ninja Kiwi, the backbone of INTZ in the late game, gets another vertebra taken out of him, and VivoKey are even more firmly in control of this game.
A gruesome but apt metaphor. So I applaud it. Yeah, sniped over the wall here. And ZZK does get a shutdown here, but again, the Ocean Soul is, I mean, it makes the shutdown a consolation prize, right? And you got it on the support. You already lost the fight. What are we doing? 8 kills now. The lead for VivoCade, and 4 dragons to 0, crucially. That is going to feel so, so good. And it's going to be just so much tougher for the damage to chew through here from INTZ. And VivoCade starts not even opting to build that much armor yet. You just see Tabby's there on Gigo. He goes in there. Yampy again caught out. Just VivoCade have flooded the opposing jungle with vision, and they're the ones asking the questions, and INTZ have no answers. Nosferus down, has to flash away. Wee woo, all gas, no brakes. This is your new VivoCade stars, ladies and gentlemen.
I was sure you were going for the call an ambulance, but not for me. That is the vibe that I
That would have worked.
got as Crastiel survived a full round of burst from a mid lane chase and lived to tell the tale. Baron, not even worth mentioning as it's an afterthought for Vivo Kid, who pick it up on the reset because the way that they have been playing this game has net them such a ridiculous advantage that even Vivo Kid's biggest overextensions are struggling to help INTZ out enough to get back into the driver's seat.
Yeah, is it an overextension? Is it just them putting on pressure? To your point, it doesn't matter because the lead is so gosh darn big. And if Vivo K do walk away with a win here, I'll be 3 for 4 in my predictions. I did not expect Pain to come out firing like they did. But I mean, look, this is a small sample size. This is just one game against another bottom of the barrel team right now on the outside looking in from playoffs. Vivo Cade tomorrow have Furia, another team that is reeling. Again, seems like they look better today, but that's a team with its own set of issues and its own set of angry supporters. Vivo Cade Stars, if they could yank themselves into a 3-7 record, we saw Pain get to the finals from a 3-7 record. It is not impossible. Now, Yampy getting the pick that they wanted. There goes the big old charm range extended. Grell gonna buy himself some time with a stopwatch. But what now? Wild Growth in, and there goes Ninja Kiwi. He go looking
Look
for
at that.
Flake. Is it too little, too late? He goes in. Nosferos knocks him right out. That might have saved it for INTZ, and it did, but only for a short time. It was the right move, but too little, too late. You saw what happens when Ninja Kiwi was able to survive, but the lead is just too big.
It's completely insurmountable. Grevthar confident on the flashboard into a Sivir, should be able to pick up this kill, and there's nothing Ninja Kiwi can do about it. Still waiting on that next item, and as we talked about before, even the biggest oversteps, the largest plays from INTZ are not enough to keep them in this game. ZZK cannot even pretend to defend this tower, and Vivo Keed can't even pretend to lose a fight with a gold lead that has ballooned to over 10,000 before 30 minutes. They have this game firmly in their hands, and INTZ have to sit back and wait for them to mess it up. You highlighted Ninja Kiwi, and that is the dream.
And the INTZ, Yampy, he hit a good hook. He got onto Grell, but he's got armor. He's got resistances. This is, Vi, she's in this archetype of junglers that makes plays early and can make plays in bursts late, but kind of turns into a traffic cone. The scaling isn't there. And Grell wasn't even phenomenal in the early game. Like you said, it was Gigo getting solo kills. It was Steps and Crastiel just saying, oh, Yampy wants to just give us a free kill. Okay. But in the mid game, he was controlling neutral objectives, and the team fighting has been superb from him. They needed a go button, and they got it with Grell. It's been so good. And yeah, I mean, but that's what INTZ have to resort to now. It sucks because when you're behind like this, you've got to make picks. And they did that, and it just went absolutely disastrously. Yeah, so you can't even do the right thing anymore. Like you said, you were waiting for a colossal throw from Vivo Cade Stars at this point.
And that was it. That's the biggest problem, is that INTZ have already come up against massive missteps, and Vivo Kid aren't even blinking. We're right back to the same map state that we were at moments before, and that big misstep that you talk about and that we've been looking for has had its lease on life extended, because now it's got to carry us through to the 40-50 minute mark, where INTZ have enough items not just on Ninja Kiwi but on everyone else to survive these team fights effectively. This is the start of maybe one of them, though. We've got a play coming in from the bottom side. Vivo Kid want to fight. Do INTZ?
Yeah, Vivo Kid. There goes Gigo just trying to buy himself some time. Big old charm, but it's taken all that time to chew through Gigo. Steps and Grefthar trying to lay down the damage, and finally they get there in time. Gigo and Grell buying time. Grell right back in whence he came, and they chew right through him. Who says Varus doesn't scale? I still do. But he and Grefthar able to lay down the damage. Gigo and Grell buy Vivo Cade Stars time, and this felt inevitable, Dia.
Not losing a single member, that's the end of the game. And it should be now with 30 seconds on the death timers. Guigo and Grefthar have it in their sights. Elder Dragon, we didn't even get there because Vivo Kid were immortal as we hit the 25, I dare say even 22-minute mark. The missteps that INTZ made in the early game were too big, and Vivo Kid, well, they've won this game and pushed themselves up the leaderboards a little bit. INTZ have me questioning whether they even deserve their 5-5 spot.
Yeah, this is not how INTZ wanted to end the split.